Welcome to the AI Security Update, hosted by Dr. Anmol Agarwal, where we break down the latest in AI and security with experts on the front lines, focused on what you need to know without the hype. Welcome to the AI Security Update, where we discuss the latest in AI and security. I'm your host, Dr. Anmol Agarwal, and I'm excited to welcome our guest for this episode, Nathan Chung. Welcome to the show, Nathan. Could you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Admiral. It's great to be here. So I've been working in cybersecurity and IT for many, many years now. And most recently, I've also been working with AI on the cyber side. And on top of that, I'm a global neurodiversity champion, and I have my own podcast called Neurosec. So it's great to be here today. In my experience, based on my recent experience working with AI and addressing cybersecurity risks, it's still largely a work in progress. We are essentially still applying the old school traditional frameworks like NIST and whatnot to a newer technology problem, which it'll cover it somewhat, but it does not cover the entirety of AI and its capabilities and what it is doing to literally transform the way we live and work today. And at a high level, I would say there is a lot of resistance to AI in general. So not just cybersecurity risks, but the human risks. I like to think about it as kind of like the Terminator series of movies where people are just scared of what AI can do. So that's why when you look at the news, like Microsoft and Windows 11, there's a lot of hostility towards the way the big tech companies like that are forcing AI into the products we use every day. So NIST has an AI framework, and also there's one ISO, I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's 42,001, I believe. So there's a lot of new frameworks that are coming out to help address this gap. And the way I like to think about it is like, let's say, for example, if an AI is based it's a web-based application in a cloud, the first thought a lot of people have is AI is just this monstrous, overreaching system that covers everywhere, and that is not totally true yet. But the way I've been approaching it is just like approach it as like you're just saying a web application. A lot of the same principles apply. The system still is web and cloud based, so you gotta make sure basics still apply. Make sure you don't have insecure protocol. Make sure that the system is using the telnet, for example, or insecure protocols that are no longer viable, like SHA-1. But because at the end of the day, yeah, when you think of it in that mindset, a lot of these existing AI systems today that's a good starting point. But where it gets more complex is when you essentially pop open the hood of the AI system and look under the hood. That is where things get more complex, and that's where more advanced AI, I say, engineering techniques are needed. Like the RAG system, which helps to accelerate we call it the finding and retrieval of data, but at the same time, it's a huge security issue. It's just because knowing that hackers can target an AI's RAG, because if you take out the RAG, you essentially can either triple the AI system, or you can at least very much slow it down. And with companies integrating AI scale, even slowing down AI system can have a significant business impact. It could be almost like a DDoS attack, almost. It slows the system down and businesses will start to feel pain.
And we also have international standards like ISO 42001. And the challenge we're having now in the field is cybersecurity and the AI fields. We need to work together in order to determine how AI security is going to work. So the challenge is that AI is changing the game, right? So we have traditional security systems and traditional security methods we can use, like Nathan is mentioning. Last episode, we talked about availability. So in security, there
Yes.
are three main things that you need to think about: confidentiality. So that means information should be secure and not viewable to people who shouldn't have access to it. Think about like healthcare information. It should only be viewable to you, people you designate, and family doctors or people who should have access to it. Someone randomly you meet at a restaurant should not have access to that information. Integrity is like the other cybersecurity principle, which we talk about. So, integrity means when I send something, then you get what
Yes.
I meant to send. No one changes my message while I'm sending it. So, like, for example, if I were to text Nathan today, he should get my text message and not something random. So if I text him, "Hi, Nathan, welcome to the show," someone shouldn't be able to change it and say, "Hi, Nathan, I'm waiting outside for an Uber." Just a random example. And then availability is something we talked about last episode, but it's like Nathan is mentioning, we don't want denial of service attacks or DDoS, which is distributed denial of service attacks. So that basically is denial of service attack, but it's with multiple devices contributing.
Yes.
We use AI every day, and we have been using it every day for many years. We just didn't realize it was AI. Like Google, whenever we enter in a search result, that's AI. Whenever we go shopping on Amazon or eBay, they're using AI to recommend things to us. Netflix or streaming platforms, they use AI as well. So I think a lot of this is also about educating other people about here's what AI is, here's what security is, and this is what AI security is. So yeah, thank you so much, Nathan, for that explanation. So my next question for you is, just think about a current event, something that recently happened in the news related to AI security or cybersecurity, and let's just talk about it.
Sure. So, just a few days ago, CES, a Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, just ended. So I didn't go this year, but I went last year. And similarly, it's all about AI, new CPUs that can support AI, new AI powered sunglasses, AI powered refrigerator, AI powered this, AI powered that. So it's it's just like the World Wide Web. We're in a wild, wild west time where people are just so excited about AI. They're brushing forward with just throwing AI to everything that's around us, every product, without thinking about the consequences of security. Like when I was at a panel at CES last year, I had actually said that, like, with all these AI products, it's great, it's wonderful, but where's the security? So I hate to be a downer, but that's the reality today. I do believe that will lead to more cyber attacks utilizing AI. And I have met people in my career who are very much opposed to AI in general, but in the cybersecurity field right now, there are AI powered cybersecurity tools. And the sad reality is our enemies on the other side are already using them to conduct attacks. Some of the most, I say, famous ones, like you probably see in the news are like deep fakes where they can take an you would see an image, like say, of a politician or a famous celebrity and it looks so lifelike. The audio, video, it looks so lifelike. That's called deep fake. Those that's an example of a AI created issue that you will more likely see in the news. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's just so many, many, many more way AI has been weaponized to attack. That's why I would say that as a AI cybersecurity professional, it is very important for a cybersecurity team to also have the AI defensive tools to help even to essentially uh, have a, a fair even playing field.
The challenge we're having is on the defensive side, we're seeing all these people, they are trying to use AI for security to say, okay, are these patterns indicative of an attack? But then on the offensive side, like Nathan is mentioning, adversaries, people that wish to do harm, they are trying to use AI to attack. And now there are so many tools out there, and this is really scary that people can just go online, to Telegram, and they just ask, "Can I get a tool to do AI powered ransomware?" And so in the past, people had to actually program and have the skills, the Python programming skills to create these AI machine learning algorithms before they could use them. And now criminals are using marketplaces like Telegram or the dark web to just sell these tools. And they're just saying you can have AI powered ransomware with just a click of a button. So now anyone can really use AI for malicious purposes because it's so accessible. One challenge we're seeing with deepfakes is that they're getting more and more sophisticated. And again, people have more and more access to these tools to create these deepfakes because in the past, we've all seen the memes of the celebrities, Elon Musk, for example, very famous people. They're doing things, but you can tell it's fake. But now they're getting very sophisticated. And my piece of advice when we're talking about deepfakes is that try to see what something is before you click on it or before you share it. So one thing about deepfakes is what they're trying to do is socially engineer you, which basically means they're trying to prey on human emotions to get you to do something and to either spread message, spread fear. So, for example, a deep fake could be a celebrity endorsing a product. I think Tom Hanks a couple years ago, there were a bunch of ads about him endorsing something that he never did, like some medication. And so, um, in order to verify, like, is this a deep fake or not, you need to see, does this look suspicious? I think one thing is when you see something on social media or you see something on the internet, make sure before you share it or before you believe it, verify and see, is this real or is it just a deep fake? Nathan, do you have any other advice for our listeners about how to protect themselves from AI security risks?
Let's see, off the top of my head, it gets hard because as AI, a lot of the big companies are using more and more AI. It gets harder. I think what worries me is the only real protection a lot of people will have is essentially have less trust in everything. That's a sad reality. Just like from the X Files shows, like I really enjoyed watching where they say trust no one. That's the sad reality of you're heading towards because if you can't trust the videos or people or whatnot we see on the internet, then a lot of people will eventually get to a point where they just want to unplug and not trust what you see on screens anymore. But at the high level, I would say be vigilant, and at a human level, you can also go with your gut. Like,
I think with any tool, with any power, comes great responsibility, right? Like Superman, like with great power comes great responsibility. And I think we're seeing that with AI as well is yes, you can use it for good, but you can also use it for evil. And ultimately you have to decide what you want to use it for. Like deepfakes can be very scary, but then also AI is helping us in so many ways as well. So it's like it's almost like a debate, like, should we use AI or is the harm too much? But you also mentioned the CES show and how people are throwing AI at everything. And I think what we've seen is the general public, almost everyone, they are so excited about the promise of AI, artificial intelligence. The words artificial intelligence sounds really cool, when really it's just looking at patterns and data analytics. But I think people are so bought into the hype cycle of AI this and AI that, and we have AI powered everything, that it also becomes a challenge is how do we secure this technology as well? I was going shopping at Home Depot, to just look at light fixtures for my house, and I saw smart refrigerators, you know? Like, they had this booth for a Samsung smart refrigerators, and they were very interesting because I just remember a traditional refrigerator, like why would you need a smart refrigerator? Why would you need all these really great things? They had a smart oven where you just, if you want to record what you're cooking, then you can do that with the smart oven. It has a camera and you can access it via your phone and your application. And so they're throwing AI into everything. And I think the challenge is whenever we add AI to a machine or to a tool, it is also adding complexity to the tool itself as well. And what we're seeing is okay, you have a smart oven, you have your application for your smart oven. What if that application is attacked or hacked? What do you do? How do you secure that? Um, and when you're adding all these applications on your phone, make sure that you don't use the same password for everything. So that's another thing is that we see a lot of the public they just use the same password for everything because it's hard. You have all these accounts. You don't want to keep remembering different passwords. You just want to get onto your app, do what you're supposed to do, and then go to the next app. But cyber criminals are using this vulnerability or this tendency of humans to just want things to be easy. And then it also becomes easier for people to attack these applications.
Oh yeah, because there's so many studies done where they ask what are the common passwords used, and it's always the same. Because like you said, people hate passwords, really hate passwords, especially when some organizations and website require a long password. So one way to address that is using pass phrases, something simple like a 3-word or 4-word phrase that makes things easier for people to remember. Number two, they can also use a password manager. That way you remember one complex password, and then all your other more complex passwords are stored in in a secure password manager that you don't have to remember so much. And I think it is a sad reality that AI and the web before that, with technology, it makes things easier for us as humans. Some people they love the promise of AI. It's like if we didn't have to work hard or to think, then people like that. But as we see in news, it's also making people a little bit less smart. And I'm really worried that when you look at in sci-fi, which I love, especially like when you look at the movie, that 1984 Dune movie, it started off where they introduced robots and it made things easier and people can live like essentially a paradise where they don't have to work hard until robots rebelled on them and then that led humanity to the dark age. I It eats into the fear people have today where they really are fearful of that happening. And we see it in the news. People are literally using AI to the point where our intelligence is getting a little bit lower. And it reminds me of another movie, Wally. I'm not sure if you remember Wally, where people were just literally they just live literally in a chair with a TV in front of them and robots take care of everything. And the result, people got larger and they use their brains less. Like, I, I don't know how to say, but part of me is afraid of that. And for that, I think we should not use AI so much. But inversely, I think you're right. Where people don't hear enough in the news is AI is used for positive community impact. For example, a friend was telling me how a friend was using AI to address homelessness and hunger. Like you never see that in news, but people are using AI for good and to help people, and that's amazing.
Wally finds his way on the spaceship and he sees all these people are there, but they don't even really look at Wally. They're so focused on their little screens. And they're like, oh, there's this new food item. Let's just get that, or let's just change it to a blue. Like there was this announcement in the movie. Um, you know, blue is the new color for their uniform, and they just all mindlessly click like, okay, let's go to blue. And that's one challenge we're seeing is yes, this automation can help us, but we also need to make sure we continue having critical thinking skills, we continue trying to do things the fundamental ways, I think AI can be very good when you want to learn something new that you're not aware of. But I don't think it can replace the fundamental skills that we all need to know. Because we see this all the time, right? When we rely on AI, there are also some security vulnerabilities that might happen. One thing with AI generated code is you copy paste the code and then it could have vulnerabilities associated with that because um, it might have importing libraries that you don't really need and it directs to malware or something malicious. But if you're not familiar with the fundamentals, then you could just copy paste that code and not realize you're introducing a vulnerability. But I think we need to embrace AI, the positive aspects of AI, but also be aware of the risks. So it's kind of like we mentioned, double edged sword, kind of both positive as well as some things we need to consider. And Nathan, another question for you is you mentioned you went to the CES show and you talked about the cloud application, um, basically a web application in the cloud, and it can use AI. Could you elaborate on some of the things you've seen at this CES event and how exactly these AI powered apps in the cloud work?
Yeah, CES even last year, AI, they essentially put AI in everything. Even AI powered car, AI powered glasses, even AI powered dogs and whatnot. But back to the application. So the key for the AI is, as a lot of people will see, is a lot of the vast majority of AI applications are hosted in the cloud. So that's a key part there because, as everyone knows, cloud in itself has a lot of vulnerabilities and misconfiguration. So you're just increasing the attack surface and making it easier for attackers to attack the AI web application in the cloud. Now, inversely, I think the other cybersecurity words a lot of people don't talk about are things like hallucination. Like you mentioned, like when people use AI to code, they think, great, it's amazing. AI can just do it for me. But it's just like all things. Ideally, you as a human should still check the code because hallucinations can still happen where AI thinks you want X, but in actuality, it throws in unnecessary stuff, versus libraries you don't need, secure, code insecure, or sometimes I've even heard instances where it just frankly just does something totally different. I'm sure you heard the stories where uh, people are driving around Europe and with a AI powered GPS or an AI powered car, and the car just flies into a river because the AI system thought you wanted to go to a restaurant, and it because of hallucination, it went the wrong way and thought the restaurant's in the sea. It's things like that. It's hallucination is also another huge uh, cybersecurity risk because it affects the quality of the output of the AI system. Now, I've seen more and more AI systems employ essentially kind of like a setting where you can control the rate of hallucination and the output. Because think of it this way: you can either have an accurate answer slower or a higher chance of hallucination answer quicker. The typical human mind wants the answer quicker, hence the greater the greater chance of hallucinations.
You know, like Nathan, you're mentioning you can use AI for good. There are so many ways people are using AI for good. When I was at the UN, people were talking about using AI to help with all of these different challenges, using AI for data analytics to help people from underprivileged areas or countries get access to things. But then they were also fearful of AI at the same time. I think AI is very helpful and it can be leveraged for very good things, but then also we need to make sure we secure it and we use it responsibly. Um, so Nathan, I know you've been involved with responsible AI and AI governance. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Sure. So a few months ago, I got a AIGP, the AI governance professional certification from IAPP, that there's the same organization that focuses on privacy. So I learned a lot when I was training, getting that certification. I think the most important thing, which a lot of people don't think about, is the big main key is monitoring. AI is great and all, but when you build it and deploy it, the monitoring piece is something a lot of people don't think about because they think the AI is so great and it's so faultless that we don't have to worry about it. But reality is we do need to worry about it. AI makes mistakes. Hallucinations is one part, but can you imagine like hallucinations and mistakes at scale? That's what's going to start costing businesses a large sums of money. Business wise, they will probably go a similar route where I foresee businesses using it more and more, AI more and more for the entry level. Just think help desk. I foresee AI going a similar route where AI will probably take over the level one help desk function, so to speak. Because for that, the vast majority of people who call in the help desk will have basic questions, which AI can work amazingly well at. And when I one example of this is like chatbots. I know some banks and organizations, they are already using chatbots. That way, when you instead of calling anyone at all, you just enter your question to a chatbot and it'll answer you. That is a lot quicker, and for the organization, it saves money and it's a solution deploys at scale. And for that, AI will work very well.
People are using it, like you're saying, to replace entry level functions, entry level roles. This is something that is being debated in the industry right now. Is like AI is replacing these traditional entry level roles. When people wanted to get into cybersecurity, they would often start at the help desk. They would start with these entry level roles to build up their skill set, and then they can rise in their careers, move up into a cybersecurity role. But what happens when AI is basically replacing the entry level roles and organizations just want to be efficient? What happens to those entry level people? And what's really important that I think we need to emphasize is yes, AI can do it faster for you, but you also need to train people, and you also need to make sure you have a pipeline to have a workforce when your current employees inevitably will retire, and then you need to find new people. So it's still really important to have training programs and to get people and hire people who have the potential to do the work and to help your organization, because all of these corporations and businesses, you need to have a long-term vision as well. Today, the hype is, AI powered everything, but then how will that scale in your organization in the future? How will you use it? And how can you ensure that your business remains profitable even when you're using AI? One thing with AI is that it's really good for a lot of use cases, but also for the enterprise, it can be quite expensive. You need to understand what is it that you're trying to resolve with AI? What is the data that you're trying to analyze before you throw AI at everything? Does everyone need a smart oven? Probably not. But yes, if you're trying to have your own YouTube channel, which is like a YouTube cooking channel, and you want to show the progression of how the food is being cooked, and maybe you want to record that and then share it with everyone, then yeah, maybe that's something you want, and the cost is worth it. But if you don't need it, then maybe as a business, it doesn't make sense to buy that. Nathan mentioned some really great standards that you can look into if you're interested in this, like ISO 42001 is ISO standard, international standard for AI governance. NIST risk management framework is another one Nathan mentioned, which again gives you an idea of how these responsible AI and secure AI principles might work for your organization or just for those of you that want to learn more.
Cloud Security Alliance, that organization has is they are at the forefront. In my opinion, they are at the forefront of the cybersecurity AI side. So literally every week or month, they're coming out with new guidance and new standards and framework on how to address and identify AI cybersecurity risks.
Are there any resources you recommend for people to learn more?
Yep. Besides the frameworks you mentioned, yeah, I would definitely recommend going to the Cloud Security Alliance's website because literally in the past a few months ago, they released even more guidance on AI risk management. So they're literally at the forefront of cybersecurity AI, uh, addressing cybersecurity AI risks. And having passed a AIGP certification a few months ago, I would highly recommend that as well. Because similar to all these various IT cybersecurity technologies, AI does require a framework and kind of like a CI/CD pipeline. Because as companies adopt AI, just like a car, it needs to be serviced and maintained. Like some organizations will even update the model every so often. All that requires a continuous kind of like a CI/CD pipeline where it's continuously tested.
We'll be back next time with more great conversations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the AI Security Update. No hype, just what you need to know. Subscribe to catch the latest episodes and connect with me, Dr. Anmol, on LinkedIn for more insights from the world of AI security. We'll see you next time.